We're starting things off with some big news for Gamecock fans. South Carolina head coach Shane Beamer makes a coaching change after last night's loss to Ole Miss. Beamer announcing the dismissal of offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach Mike Shula earlier this afternoon. This is, of course, something that many fans have been thinking about and clamoring for. Julia Westerman joins us here at the desk. Julia, so you just listened to Shane Beamer's teleconference. What sorts of things was he saying about this move here?
Yeah, obviously a lot going on in the last 7 hours or so, but he got on the teleconference at 5 o'clock today and just said, hey, this was 100% my decision. He said he didn't have any outside influence from the athletics department. He said it was 100% his decision to make, and he owned up to the fact that he thought this was the right decision back in December when he elevated Shula to offensive coordinator from his position as offensive analyst. But he said it's just not working anymore, and it wasn't a rash decision when he made this choice, but now he said it was the time to move on, just given how this offense has been working over the last several weeks. And something that stood out to me is Beamer said, quote, "At the end of the day, you're judged by what you do on Saturday. We haven't been productive or efficient enough on Saturdays." And if we want to take a look at the full screen that we have here, we can kind of look at what this offense has looked like under Shula this season. And this is in the SEC, so 16th in scoring. They're averaging 19.7 points per game. That's the lowest for this program since 2002. 16th in total offense. That's 294.1 yards per game. They are the only SEC team averaging less than 300 yards per game. They are the only program in FBS that hasn't had a game with at least 350 yards. So taking a look at some of these other things, 16th in rushing, 15th in passing, and one that really stuck out to me, 14th in time of possession. They only have the ball for less than 28 minutes per game, so can't really get anything going. And just you look at last night with the Ole Miss game, and you know, it was kind of an uncharacteristic game where we've seen this offense struggle throughout this season, but last night just seemed like nothing was working, and Lenore Sellers didn't look great throughout the whole game. And this season, you know, he's had 7 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, but the thing that sticks out, he's been sacked 33 times. You know, that's something that comes down to his decision making as well as the offensive line. Of course, this is now the second coaching change that we've seen made this year after Beamer fired Lonnie Teasley earlier this season, the former offensive line coach. So putting a lot of things in motion, but this season, this is the first time that Beamer has ever made coaching changes mid-season, and this is 2 now for this year. So lots of things that need to happen here. This is only the 3rd firing in Beamer's 5 seasons with this program. So really been trending this way for much of the season, and of course you really want to see things change after this, but of course you're 3-6 at this point in the year. You only have 3 games to go. You have to win those 3 games in order to get bowl eligibility, which is something that Beamer's teams have only missed once in his time here. So something that was definitely trending in this direction, but now the question is who's going to take over play calling? That question wasn't answered during the teleconference. I think that's something that Beamer has to think about a little bit more in depth in the next week. Obviously, they have the bye week, so they have some time to figure this out, but then they have to go to College Station and take on a top 5 Texas A&M team. So pretty rough stretch. You've got Coastal and then Clemson to end out the regular season, but something that needed to happen, something that people were really clamoring for, like you said. But yes, Mike Shula, the era ends after only 9 games this season. He did operate as the offensive coordinator last year for the bowl game, so only 10 games of the Mike Shula era.
Wow, yeah, and the hits keep coming, as you said, on the schedule. Did he say anything about, over these next 3 games here, trying to further unlock Lenore Sellers?
Of course, that's been something that everybody really is curious about because Sellers was so good last season and there were such high expectations for him going into this year. He was a Heisman hopeful, and that just hasn't really panned out this season. And just a lot of people are wondering if this was the right system for him. So almost if they try to go from a different approach moving forward, maybe Sellers could operate a little bit differently. And that's, of course, you know, something that you want to see Sellers improve upon as you finish out this season, because this was supposed to be a really great season for him. So set him up for success and whatever his future may be. Beamer was asked about that during the teleconference, if he's had any conversations with Lenore as to what his future could be, because will he stay with South Carolina next season? Will he try to enter the draft? So of course he wants to prime himself to be in the best position possible in that case. So you got to be curious what this offense is going to look like over the next 3 games to really see if anything can be changed for Sellers. But hopefully things are good moving forward, but obviously a change that needed to happen.
Remarkable insight as always, Julia. Thank you for joining us on the desk, and of course we'll have much more coming up at 10 and 11 on this story.